Welcome back for another installment of VRF Tech Talk Takes Over Coolmaster. Uh, we are recording our final session of the first day of a really great training event so far. We've got one of our friends here, Ken, with Havtech, joined by Roman again, obviously. Ken, why don't you give him a little introduction to yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely.
My name's Ken Jones. I work for Havtech. Been with Havtech roughly 10 years now. I'm the VRV, VRF technical field supervisor. Um, yeah, excited to be here. Thanks, guys.
Great.
Good. So obviously, we're here learning about CoolAutomation products. We're here learning about remote monitoring services, platforms, stuff like that. I know I am extremely new to this. I know that I drug you along, and now you are extremely new to this.
Yeah.
But you're not new to the remote monitoring aspects of the VRF industry. You actually have way more experience in this than I do with other platforms such as what previously known as Riptide, now Turntide, not Box. You guys are just you guys made that separation. So yeah, go ahead. So tell me a little bit about your experience with that.
Yeah, so originally we started off with Riptide. Started off with them, which then went to Turntide. Worked with Turntide for a while. We had it on multiple sites. Being able to access the data no matter where you're at and help customers remotely is what's powerful about it. So any remote monitoring tool you can have when you have 40 or 50 compressors on a roof, you have 500 some indoor units, having that remote access to that equipment is so powerful. Yeah. And that's why, being able to offer that to customers is what's needed.
Would you say that it helps you? Because how many service guys do you have now at Havtech that do VRV?
That do VRV, VRF, around 35, 40.
See, that's a lot of guys.
And you have guys that are, starting off in the trade with VRV, VRF, and then you have guys who have been working on it since VRV2, VRV3.
Yeah.
We have some amazing talent.
No, yeah. And so with that, it always makes me think, okay, you have all these guys and, some of them are really good. Some of them are still learning. Some of them, they have their own quirks. We all do things differently. The way I look at data is completely different than the way Donald looks at data. And so it makes it difficult to try to create certain processes to get the same result out of looking at data or even just monitoring systems. And so I think that platforms like CoolAutomation, remote monitoring services, they make that a little bit easier for us to help implement those procedures with the team to say, hey, this is what we do, this is what we look at, and give them that access so that we can also double check the work, right? Because there's nothing worse than saying, hey, go look at a job, look at all these things, and what'd you find? Well, I found something that was bad, or this was kind of bad, and it's like, okay, well, let's actually look at it. Well, I didn't even save any of the data. I don't have any of that information.
I forgot to record. Right?
Oh man, that
we've all
record
been
button.
There.
Oh man,
that's what that SD card didn't record.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being able to have access to those trends, right? We have years and years of trends, and you're right. Like the big aspect of what you miss is when you don't have that remote data.
Yep.
Is you don't know what happened without it before you got there.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're in a world where you hook up the service checker, you hook up service checker to a system.
Yep.
You're only viewing live data. But having something like CoolAutomation or whatever remote monitoring service there is, you can actually play back the data and you always have it. So you can see it prior to a failure.
Yes.
Yeah, that historical data is really important to gauge the overall health of the system rather than just that snapshot right when you're there, right? We've touched on this probably 4 times already today, but when you're in front of it, it doesn't act up, right?
Yeah.
It's like watching water boil, right? It doesn't do anything until you step away.
Yeah. No, and so it all comes back to as well the other side of things, the flip side of things. And the flip side is being, sure, it's great to have access to the data, but also what the hell do you do with it? What are we doing with it anyways? And I know that we learned today how easy it is to just commission the system, pull in points. I mean, it was like a flip of a light switch, and to where like you could turn things on and off, and it would respond like that.
It was instant. It was less than a second.
I was actually kind of worried that it's actually too fast, right? It's one of those things where, technology is great, but you have this like expectation of where you've just been taught and maybe it's lessons learned that you're just kind of expecting it to not do what they say it does. And I would say here with CoolAutomation, so far it does everything they say it does, actually probably better than I expected it to, which is a little scary, actually. It's kind of
I think it's refreshing, coming from some of the other products that are out there where either don't do what they've promised or don't exist anymore. Now we have something that does what is supposed to do right out of the box.
Yeah.
And my point of view is that it's very user friendly for all levels of technician, right? So you're saying that you have technicians from the VRV2 days, right? That's 2013, 14, even older than that. Like how historically how those guys have been with going into this new computer age of the job site, right? Where you don't have to look up gauges anymore. You don't have to have a temperature gun to check temperatures. Now you can remote in off your phone from your your couch.
That's about what it is.
Yeah, well, and so looking back after all the things that we've looked at today, all the things we've touched on today, and the controllers, I would say the biggest thing for me that I think I'm excited about is the stuff that we haven't really talked a whole lot about yet, and that is the anomaly rules.
Yeah.
I know you and I were playing around with them to see what you can and can't do. Tell me a little bit about your current process and how you think that you're going to be able to utilize or maybe streamline the things you're doing. Because I know we're just sitting there listening to them talk and us pushing. Because that's weird. As technicians, we can't help but brainstorm and also push a bunch of buttons to be like, what the heck does all this stuff do way before they even do it?
Fiddle around a bit.
Yeah, and so you and I were talking about it. What are some things that you think that you're going to be able to utilize from what we saw today, or what the things we found in your daily processes with your team to streamline things to where you might be able to save some time on projects?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that we're the most excited about, just talking to everyone in the VRF industry, is the fact that we can automate some of that. And for example, currently you set a technician on site for a basic operational inspection or PM, and you have to spend 16 hours just vetting something simple as thermistors.
Yeah, well, and that's if they have one service checker, right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes you're like, well, okay, he's going out to the big job. Send 5 service checkers with him.
That's right. Or hey, you get port 1, port 2, you get 3 and 4.
That's it.
So if you can automate that, and CoolAutomation has it where you can set up the algorithms where you just hit start, and then it literally vets it for you and gives you the outcome. Yeah. Being able to do that is the powerful part. Same thing with your basic EEV bleed by checks. Yeah. You and I were bouncing ideas off of each other, hey, how do we do this? And we were playing with it. Well, we're supposed to be learning other things, but we were going ahead of the class.
We got the gist of it. My thing is from what I've seen so far. Now the crazy thing is that I see it and I'm like, oh well, this doesn't do what I want it to do. But the thing is, they want to know what we want it to do in the first place, and they're going to change it. And so it's never oh man, they don't have that. It's more hey, they don't have that. Let me tell them they need it and why, and they're going to do it. And the crazy thing is with them is it could be tomorrow. It could be a week from now, and they're ready to hey, take it for a test drive. And so my thing is being able to run a program sequence. Now, obviously, maybe nighttime isn't the best time to run a system at 100%, right? You're not going to really get a good judge of higher ambience outside or stress testing the system, but let's be honest, bleed by is bleed by, and it's always there, whether it's nighttime or daytime. And so there are certain things that we could set up anomaly rules for, or even just test procedures, and then have it to where it auto runs every month, every 2 months, every 3 months, at night, on the weekend, when the client is not either using the space or they're aware it's going to do something weird at 3 a.m. and they won't even notice it.
Yeah, it's not during business hours. That's exciting part of that.
Yeah, think about it for the construction aspect, right? If you're starting up a system, one system, 25 fan coils, right, could take a day to go through, vet everything, right? But if the technician goes there to do startup, he puts his addresses in, he sets up the Coolmaster, and then starts a rule and walks away for the rest of the day and comes back the following day and say, hey, look, we got these 2 items that probably need addressed of, do I have an airflow issue over here because this coil is running cold? And lo and behold, the construction tape is still on the unit, right?
You're right. I mean, and it also sets you up for the opportunity to multitask, right? You can run that and you can say, hey, I'm going to go change the filters while I'm running a test.
Change the filters, or if you got multiple systems on one job, right? Let the rules run on one system while you go address the other one, right? So now you're doubly as productive with one guy rather than send 2 guys out there that are twice the pay and twice the overhead, and it's just a dumb choice not to do something that makes your life easier.
I'm going to start saying doubly productive, just so you know.
Doubly productive.
It'll be my service notes.
That sounds smooth.
We're going to charge you doubly today. So
made that up.
That hurts a little bit. I wouldn't go that
Listen, I got profit margin to meet here, guys. It's doubly or nothing.
Normally, I'd charge you doubly, but
But today, not so much. No, and it's true because it's one thing to like say, let's try to get more efficient with our time and our service notes and on the job site and how we present ourselves to the client and making sure that we look like we're being productive. But with tools like this, if they're leveraged correctly and they're applied correctly, or even marketed correctly, you could change so much of what you already do and kind of usher in a new era of maintenances where it's like, listen, we're going to walk the job twice a year and visually inspect everything and touch things, right? To wash out our coils or verify that everything looks copacetic inside, outside. But outside of that, we're going to do a once a month automated check, right? And if you have any issues between day one and day 365, we'll have recorded data to go back and pull it. Now, with the anomaly rules that we're going to enable and turn on, we're not only going to catch any bleed buys as they happen, we're going to check sensors as they go bad. We're going to check sensors as they drift. We're going to find those units, your maintenance guy who you let go, who hasn't changed filters in 6 months, and that's why he got let go. We're going to find that, right? Because it's going to be low superheat. And so there's all these things that can get kind of woven into a preventive maintenance contract that, we would technically go out and spend 3 days checking, where now we're doing it not only more than just quarterly, we're doing it monthly. And it's automated because I don't have to pay anybody to do it. It's a machine. It's a program. It's a schedule. And so leveraging it in that aspect, I think, is extremely valuable because you're getting more for your money because we're doing it more often. So we're going to catch more things if there is anything to catch.
Right. I mean, like the hard parts, right? Like flares, filters, and fins, right? Those are the things that you can't get away from doing, right? Those require somebody to go do. But bleed by check, right? Like I would hate to have to pay technicians to go sit on a job site and chip fan mode, cool mode, heat mode all day, all night. And for what? Like, it's just a waste of money. So, like, not only is it a cost savings for the technician or the service group, but now it's a revenue generator too, right? Because now you have an extra, something in your satchel to provide to the customer and say, look, we did all of this extra work for you to find that your building is healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't 100% say it's a waste of money. But because we do find issues, but it's a waste of time when there's better options out there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not an efficient use of your time for not the most bang for your buck is what I would say, right? Where you're saying, hey, we're going to do all these things, but they're also super labor intensive. What if there was a way to make it less labor intensive by paying upfront for a device like this with a subscription service? And then these are all the things we're going to provide you. And I think a lot of customers and clients, if they could have like a guaranteed lack of downtime for some of these people, that's like worth its weight in gold.
They'll open their checkbook right away.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, and the big thing is you always have to look at how can you evolve the service business, right? Is you have to always be moving with the times and moving with technology.
Yeah.
Because things are forever changing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too. The great thing is we got to talk to somebody today whose business was like started and founded when CoolAutomation like literally hit the market. And they got to see the product evolve over the years, and they found that what it was to what it is now is a night and day difference. But also that it's a product that was shaped to meet the needs of not just the client, but the service provider. Because at the end of the day, it's the person who's delivering that service to keep the system running, to keep the system healthy, to make sure that they're not having any loss of service, that their equipment's running efficiently. All those things are extremely important to make sure that the equipment lasts as long as we all say it's supposed to, right? It's not a 10-year throwaway system like everybody says it is. It is actually supposed to last 15 to 20 years, if not longer. I mean, there's VRV out there. What would you say? You have VRV2 in your market, right? Of course you do.
Yeah, a little bit of it.
Okay. And so with that, I mean, that system was built like a tank.
It is. I mean, it is out there running and running and running. Now, don't get me wrong. After 15 years, it looks rough. But
yes.
You fix a couple of thermistors and expansion valves, it's back to running 100%.
Making sure they don't have any coil leaks and stuff like that, to be proactive, it goes a long way. But it's just to go show you that it's not a throwaway product. Everybody says we're not selling. Yeah, we're not selling. Off the shelf Amazon special mini splits here. We're selling a premium product, and with a premium product requires also premium service. And not to say that you have to pay an arm and a leg to have someone come out and look at it. It's to say that you need to hire somebody who knows what they're doing and understands the importance of these things and is willing to learn a technology like this, right? Because although this is a super easy product after we've learned today and my experience with it so far, it is very plug and play. It's still scary, right? There's still a lot of, computer integration, ones and zeros, IP addresses, those are the scary words, right? That scare people away. And so, especially in the network world. And so, you got to be able to find someone who's willing to embrace a technology like this, even if it's not this brand, to understand that this is where the market is going to. It's not AI automatic diagnosis of your equipment. I don't think that's going to be a real big thing anytime soon. It's going to be more so accessing the data, and then what do you do with the data?
Well, that's what I was going to say is like the premium doesn't mean cost, right? It shouldn't be expensive. Premium, those two shouldn't be equatable, but premium should mean a person that has the ability to fix and diagnose the system with all of the data available. And why not have something like this that has the data available?
Yeah.
Well, and when you talk about cost as well, right? If you can prevent one compressor failure, right? What is a compressor failure? $5,000, $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah,
if you can prevent one compressor failure, you've already paid for the cost of a remote monitoring service for years to come.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, is having planned downtime, maintaining the equipment, and having it run as best as it can.
Yeah.
Because we have customers where they're always asking, what can we do better? Is there anything else that we can do to make our equipment run better so that way we have less downtime?
Yeah. Less failures. Well, and it comes down to as well, outside of just having less failures and less downtime, having zero downtime. A lot of these clients that I've, that end up coming to Kalos in the first place, especially here in the Florida market, they've had horrible experiences with the equipment to where they can't stand it. And whether that's the fault of who sold it, who installed it, the application, the people who provided the services to them, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they just need somebody to take ownership of it and understand, one, how serious it is, and they have to take it seriously. But two, also leveraging technology like this to get those savings. A lot of people are going to see something like this in a product like this, and they're going to think the opposite. They're going to think, well, this is monthly revenue that I could generate. And sure, that's a great idea, but again, the point here is to serve your client, right? Where we're serving people to ensure that they don't have more downtime. This isn't so we can charge them more services. This isn't so I can sell you a new system and then turn around and also sell you a subscription service that you have to be tied to forever. The great thing I think I love about this technology and the CoolAutomation product in general is just that the cross compatibility. Let's say they don't like Daikin anymore and they want to go LG, then they go LG. If they want to go Mitsubishi, they can go Mitsubishi. Like there's nothing that ties these controls proprietarily to another piece of equipment. Now there's little caveats on the installation side that we found, but outside of that, it's a universal product, which is hard to find a universal product that works out of the box as advertised and has the support like it does.
Right. Especially when you run into multiple sites like school systems, right? You'll have multiple brands of VRV, VRF or equipment.
Yeah, that's how we pull the information here. That's how we pull the information there. Yeah.
And do we have something that fits the need of all of that?
Yeah. No, and it adds up. So if you could change one thing about our current VRF industry, what would that be? I know it's a big ask. It's a big question. You've seen a lot of the technical service side. You came up as a service technician, like we all have. And you're in a position of management now with service side of seeing things and the service team. So, if there was one thing that you could change in how things are done or how things are managed, it doesn't have a big change, maybe a small change that you see, it could be a big impact to everybody else.
I would just say more access to information, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of technicians, like myself, that are always wanted to advance and learn more.
Yeah.
So having that access to more high-level information would, I think, further the VRF industry as a whole.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's funny because the more people we ask that question to, we get the same answer. Information. You'd almost think that we're working on top secret equipment for the government, but we're not actually.
We're not.
No, it's just exactly that. And I get like the legalities of things, and I get the lawsuit side of things, but I feel like we've gotten to the point where it's more so of, we're going to sell you a piece of equipment and then hide behind a bunch of legal disclosures and not actually sell you a piece of equipment and stand behind it. And there's been this disconnect for a long time, I think, in our industry. That, I mean, even my boss Brian Orr's talked about it before, and I've talked about it too. And actually, I'm publishing a tech tip here shortly called "The Enemy of My Enemy Is My Friend." And it's just about the fact that when we talk about manufacturers supporting products, we talk about that support is also information, right? It may not be disclosed in the warranty, it may not be disclosed in the documents of when you buy the equipment or the installation manual, but understanding all the things that surround that equipment, whether they think it's useful or not, is important information to share and give access to. We so quickly jump behind these groups that we create to make people feel special and forget that the whole point of us doing this and the whole reason we make equipment and sell equipment and install equipment is to serve a need, and that need is air conditioning. People need air conditioning.
Right.
They do.
And the client is the end goal here. And if we're not supporting the client by providing the support of information and technical support, documentation, or even access to that information, then it's a roadblock. You're causing a problem that doesn't need to exist for the mere sake of protecting yourself from liability. And I get it. People sue people all the time. I'm not saying that isn't a thing. But there's got to be a better way to do it. Maybe we don't know what that is yet, and maybe no one ever listens to it. But
I do feel like it's getting better with time. It's just going to take time, right? And that's part of what all these podcasts are for, and all these training events, right? The more information you get out there, the more people you educate. As long as you come away with a little bit of knowledge each time you watch something or every time you dig into something, that's what really counts.
No,
right?
I like that. Yeah.
So too, we can equate that to the automotive industry now, and then the cell phone industry too, right? Like, we're seeing giant regulations for the Right to Repair Act, and I think our air conditioning manufacturers are going to have to start to get on board with that. As the proprietary information, we get that that's your information, that's your IP, but we're out here just trying to fix it. Give us the information to help fix it, so that we are successful, and when we are successful, they're ultimately successful.
Yeah.
And now being able to have this again, remote information, there is no value to it. It's invaluable.
Yeah. And so I feel like we're rebels here in this broom closet recording this podcast, because you think about the product that is CoolAutomation, and it's a really cool company. It's been around for a while. But they basically went in and they pirated a signal that anyone thought that was possible, right? There was no cross-platform adapter. Now, there's people who've tried, and they've been somewhat successful in a way, but not to this many brands at this level of support. And so it's one of those things where it's hey, they don't care who makes it, they're going to integrate with it, right? They don't care who makes it, they're going to pull it into their platform. They don't care how they have to do it, they're going to do it. And it's just one of those things where it's man, where have these guys been? Why don't they make AC equipment too?
Shoot, right? When can I have a Coolmaster heat recovery?
That's what I'm saying. And so if everybody had that outlook on the industry, and then I get it's expensive and there's a bunch of other things that go on in the background of it, but if everybody could have that idea and understanding that, to just chase something like that with intensity to say, hey, how can I make this better? How can I help? I feel like we've just lost that as an industry. It's more so it's about dollars, right? It's hey, how do I sell more equipment? It's
push a box.
Well, that's the thing. It's listen, if your unit never breaks, I don't have to fix it. So then I don't need the information. So if really giving us the information is a problem, then just make a product that doesn't break that often. But that also goes into the installation side. We could talk on for hours about that. So.
We're going to need more time.
But it's one of those things that I think a lot about. Like you said, the information sharing is a big one. I'd love for us or a manufacturer to put their money where their mouth is and just create an FTP site, right? Daikin had it for a little bit, and they pulled it where they just all the information lives in one spot, and you don't have to go to a class, and you don't have to get certified in a 15-year-old class. It's never been updated since the beginning of time. You can just have to want to find the information and then search it, and then you find it, and that's it. Why can't we just have that? Why can't we just have libraries? I read the other day, Minecraft of all things actually has a dedicated, and I'm probably going to butcher, but they have a dedicated server that actually they rebuilt the entire Congress library in Minecraft, where you can actually read books and stuff that are banned in other countries, and so other countries. We're not a Bible or whatever books it is, that you can go on Minecraft, the game, and you can actually gain access to the entire congressional library in Minecraft. Wow. And so it's just, again, it's people fighting back against other people saying what you can and can't do.
Well, I also feel like that's one thing Daikin does well to an extent is when you think of it, the Tech Hub app.
Yeah.
The fact that you have an app that you can enter in a model number and it pulls up most of the literature immediately. is super helpful, right? Because
Yes.
when we're on a roof and you're trying to find information for one specific product, and we're not talking general industry knowledge, right?
Yeah.
You're working on a REYQ 144, right?
What's the
in the middle
additional
of the night.
charge amount?
Yeah, and you type in that model number and boom, all the literature is there from installation, operation, maintenance, service.
Yeah.
That's incredibly helpful.
It is.
And to your point, having knowledge at one access point is what's needed. What's needed in the industry.
So Coolmaster, please make a multi-manufacturer library of all documents. Just kidding. But if you do, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would also be cool. And if you want to put in Minecraft, I can hook you up with those guys. No, but it's one of those things like you're saying. So the Tech Hub app, great platform, well set up, well supported, awesome. Add the service things that we need, right? The field settings library, the previous technical service bulletins, like those fell off the edge of the map, right? The product marketing news, I'm sure, is in there. I haven't looked in a while, but those things, but just organize it like, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm trying to solve, right? All the service manuals are in there, I'm pretty sure. It's just, again, it's understanding if you published it already and you've given it out there, why hold on to it?
Right.
And it's like, well, if the guy's not a service champion or he's not a service rep, then we can't give that information out. And it's like, why not? Like, what are they going to do? They're going to hack into your equipment. CoolAutomation's already doing it.
They might fix it. That's what we're hoping for here.
We don't need that, okay? I don't need that negativity in my life, Ken. Just sell them a new unit.
Hey.
That's it. But that's it. We've got a lot of the infrastructure now. Things have moved in the right direction in some things have moved in the wrong direction, back the other way. I get a lot of people ask me about the service champion program and if it's still running and what the benefit of it is. And a lot of people know it. So there's these things that once was a thing that isn't a thing anymore. And, I know that there's a lot of people over at the factory side of things, whatever the manufacturer may be, who are trying to push the needle in the right direction. And they do make some headway in certain areas. I mean, we got service checkers released without having to have training certificates. I thought that was ever going to happen.
That's huge.
And it was huge.
I mean, it's access to information, right? You need that information to see how the equipment's running.
Right.
And I get it. No one wants to have to pay someone to do tech support to show them how to hook up service checker. They should have to go to a class. But again,
I'd rather train them on service checker than have to go to the job site.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. There's these trade-offs, and so give the options to the reps and your local area guys as to what they're going to do with it if they need to do anything with it. Or again, give them that information. That's why most of my videos on YouTube are about. It's just people who want to know information that don't have access to it. Not everybody has access to diking classes. Not everybody can go and attend diking classes. No one can fly to these certain areas. So, yeah, and so that's the thing is just getting that information out there for the people who are curious about it, who actually want to learn and work on it. So.
Exactly, and it prevents people from giving you information from analog gauges on VRV, VRF,
yes.
right? So if they're hooking up a service checker or a maintenance tool, you know what? You got a couple of values going for you.
Ken, I got a question for you. In your role, so you were talking to you last night, you're in the kind of the customer-facing side of your business. There's got to be a project where you have in your mind where this can get us out of trouble. Are those gears already turning for you to where you can apply this first?
They are. I already have an action checklist already planned out, but I have a few sites where it's wow, this would be really great. It doesn't have to be perfect at first, right? It's getting something deployed, getting it installed, building a few analytics, putting them in place and see how it goes, right? But yeah, this is going to be so valuable for multiple sites. Yeah. But the big thing is get it going on one, figure out exactly how you want to do it, and then just start to replicate it. Because that's the beautiful thing is once you figure out how it works and what you're doing, you can install more devices, copy, paste, and keep going.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of it comes in is just having the wide amount of VRF clients pulled into one place that you can manage it all on one platform. Regardless of the brand.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about VRF is in the 10 years that I've been doing this, the projects are cookie cutter, right? They might have different fan coils installed in different locations, but they all have the same startup issues. They all have the same service issues. They all have the same warranty issues. Why can't they have the same amount of data flowing out of them now, right? So if all of them are the same, right, you generate your SOP to get your process in order, and then you're just right down the line. Right?
Exactly. And then you get, you start to refine it and you advance it more and more and more, especially once you get more technicians involved. And they're like, hey, I think this would be great, right? And you say, hey, go ahead and try it, right? Try it on site. It'll alert you. It's predictives, right? That's what it's all about.
And that's what I was talking to CoolAutomation about again yesterday with their product development team. It was about if you had like 3 buttons built in that anybody could press to do self checks, to where they don't even have to be an expert in VRF or a lot of experience like we have here at this table. In that they could just go in and they can have the product, and they know that if they do this, it's going to run an algorithm that we already know is tried and true for that piece of equipment, and generate an actual report to say, hey, there is a problem. Because again, let's talk the most basic problems with VRF is charge, right? There's the newer startups.
Yes.
Charge. Okay. As we get older, expansion valves, temperature sensors.
Well,
right?
it's having refrigerant and then it's regulating it.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
Right? What is that refrigerant doing and where is it?
Yeah, and so it's not complicated. There maybe are a lot of moving pieces, but it's not hard to create something that can catch that along the way. And so building something out that isn't just us figuring it out on our own, and then everyone else who buys the product also has to figure it out on their own.
It's even more important now as we get into the A2L world, is like we really want to know where that refrigerant's at before it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true.
Right.
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I'm going to ask tomorrow is what's the future look like for integration of third-party A2L sensors, right? So like if this is installed in a mechanical room, can we wire back a Modbus A2L sensor so that we can be proactive on that, right? If we think we got a leak, let's do something about it.
BACnet, yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean,
Right.
There's already interlocks built in.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I also think about all the hotels out there that already have it spec'd to where they have that refrigerant monitor sensor that is like 2 feet off the floor,
Right.
6 feet in from the door, for those rooms because of just how small the rooms were, or whatever the safety concern was at that time. I've seen them in hotels. We're moving more and more towards that. But yes, having a platform where you could say, hey, here's all my units, but also here's my life safety, all integrated into one platform. Because again, there's that e-stop feature on the controller that can shut everything down at one time. And so, pushing that all to the manufacturer, I think is not extremely difficult. But also they're the same people who are saying that, a sensor from the manufacturer that's, resettable, they can't reset.
One time use, right?
One-time use.
They're only like $40-$50, but still like $40-$50, 40-50 times adds up a lot, right?
And then having to wait on the part.
And then
Yeah.
have to wait on the part, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're with a big enough company, right, could you stock them? Because they are kind of like they're all similar part numbers. I think there's only like 4 of them for the new Daikin fan coils, but that's a burden that we shouldn't really have to cover if we're going to have leaking systems, right? Why would we cover that as a potential warranty item, right? I mean, silly.
No, it is. It is. And also the changing field settings to say, hey, I reset the sensor and I changed the sensor.
Can you just reset it?
You could reset it. I mean, I know some guys in some other markets who have reset it and it runs just fine. Because again, I think I pulled up the sensor data. I haven't confirmed that it's the exact part number, but from the manufacturer of the A2L sensor that most people are using, and it is it's a 20-year lifespan and it's non-corruptible is what they say, right? To where even if it detects a gas, it won't actually degrade the sensor to where it can't detect it again. And so saying that it is resettable is a fancy way of saying it's resettable. And so it all comes back to, again, like you're saying, having all that information in one place would be super useful instead of saying, hey, my systems are running because of an error code. Well, what's the error code? Well, it just says it's got a leak detection.
It's got a leak detection.
Okay, what unit? Well, you got to go to every stat and look at it and go through and find the one and isolate it and turn everything else on and leak check it.
Well, I think that brings open like a whole different world of potential issues. But now if you have a standard procedure on your controller that has flagged that and shut down things, and now it's saying, hey, your next step in your procedure, Mr. Service Guy, is this, right? Where do I find that? You find it on your phone, right? It's there, right? You're already on the job site. You don't have to break out the sniffer. You don't have to go to every single tenant's room. You already have that data right here.
Or we do like the UK is doing and has had for a very long time. There's this fancy thing in the outdoor unit called the EEV, leak detection EEV, right? And we don't use it in our market, but other markets use it, where you actually put the unit in a specific test function mode where it benchmarks the system, and then it goes back and it rechecks it either every month or every 2 months or every 3 months, and it looks for a degradation in performance to say the refrigerant's leaked out. And so If you want to bypass the manufacturer side of that, you could easily build a protocol out in an automation system that would run the system and then test it, benchmark it, and then go back and retest it again to say, hey, we have detected a loss in capacity over time, which is equal to a leak is a charge loss. Because let's say A2Ls, sure, don't want them to leak. We don't want any refrigerant to leak out in the atmosphere. But again, we only have sensors at indoor units where maybe most leaks happen. But let's be honest, on new construction, 2-3 years, all bets are off at rough net, wall joint, 45, on the
outdoor
roof,
unit.
Outdoor unit. It's anywhere. And so again, if you're waiting for the sensors to pick up a leak, this isn't like it's going to leak detect the entire system. It's only the indoor units. And so I think going back and talking about things like creating a way to benchmark the system and record that and say, hey, this is good data. This is a good system. Remember this, test it like this every 2 months, and let me know when it doesn't look the same.
Right.
Well, that's already what CoolAutomation is doing in all these remote monitoring services. The fact that you can benchmark a system by looking at trends.
Yeah.
Right. Something as simple as compressor discharge temperature.
Yes.
Right. Play back 30 days of compressor discharge temp trends.
Yeah.
If it's pretty linear, that's one thing. If it starts to climb up over time, hey, you have a leak.
Random spikes that get higher and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. Now it's not automatic at this point. Right?
Yeah.
But you can make it automatic.
So let me give an example of how I use Coolmaster to fix an issue. We had a 50-room hotel, one system, 50 rooms. Like, there's no way I'm going through Service Checker of 50 rooms. It's too much. So did exactly that. Every day at whatever time, like, I would put it in what I would call bleed by check, and that's what it did. It just looks at the same parameters. If the room temperature was within a certain range, it would look at the same parameters and say, okay, this unit now is bleeding by, and this is how we found it. So we had found 3 branch sectors that were piped backwards.
Nice.
That's awesome. And you didn't spend that much time looking for it.
I didn't spend any time doing it. Right? I let the machine do it. But I went back and looked at the anomalies and said, hey, these 3 units tripped it 10 times. Okay, let me look at the data for those 3 units. Hey, sure enough, when those units go into heat, my suction pipe goes to discharge gas.
Yeah, in that same thought process, a couple of gentlemen in our class today, they were talking about how they have algorithms so that way they automatically check thermistors, right? Yeah. They said, okay, if I'm in cooling mode and I turn on and I get above 90 degrees, one of my thermistors in cooling, I know the thermistor's probably bad. We should not be 90 degrees as long as your return air temperature is below 90 degrees.
Yeah, or it's getting hot. It's getting hot gas and turning to a liquid, and it's piped to the wrong port, right? It's
powerful. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But again, it's catching that without having to look at that.
Correct.
That's the time saver, right? It's saying play, and I'm going to go watch TV, or I'm going to go take some service calls, or I'm going to go make some phone calls, send some emails, bid some projects. Catch up on emails, help someone out, across the state, and then come back and say, okay, what'd you find? And it'll say, hey, I found this. And you're like, oh, see, I could have spent 3 hours looking at this, but instead I spent like no time at all, just clicking and then coming back and saying, hey, here's the.
How many times have you asked for another you, right? Like, if I only had me again, we'd get so much more done. Right now we have that ability, right? As long as you can dream up what you want it to look for, you tell it what to do and go.
I don't think they need multiple of us. That is an issue, but
I would take another me.
It's funny you talk about, one of your earlier questions was like, what are you going to do on one of your sites? It's a problem, right? Yeah. We're sitting here just talking about data, talking about issues, talking about what we're going to do. And something popped in my head, right? We're talking cross-wiring checks. We're talking thermistors. Yeah. You could put in a simple algorithm, and it's like, okay, if the indoor is in cooling mode, is your indoor thermistors hot or cold? Now you have an automatic cross-wiring check. Yeah. Right? Yeah. You don't even have to run the test. It's just, it's an anomaly that's looking for it.
Yeah. Because again, going through and manually changing everything from cooling to heating, one unit at a time, and letting it stabilize, it takes time.
It does.
When naturally the normal use of the space will eventually have someone flip it from heat to cool in a random order to where if it's constantly looking at it, it's going to catch it in that mode. Now, unless the rare case where it is a brand new startup and it's a brand new building and it takes 3 years to become fully occupied and no one ever uses that unit, right? They never put it in heating mode, which has happened.
Well, I mean, think about like corridors and like open area space. Like, I found a cross zone from a system that was installed in 2017, right?
Wow.
right? But it was serving, the space that it was serving was like half elevator lobby, half hallway, right? So like nobody ever cared that it was not 72 degrees in that space.
That's called installer's luck.
Right.
To get
Right.
that lucky on
Right.
that zone, usually it's the worst zone.
Right.
Usually it's the one that's always switching modes that's crosswired.
When we were talking to Joel earlier, right, he says it's always Friday. I was going to pitch in. I was like, it's always Friday. It's always the principal's office, the CEO's office, or the president's room, right?
Or the police chief.
Right. It's somebody that's of importance at the worst time ever.
Yeah.
It's the end of times, right? And it's the worst technology ever. So, no, it's good. It's all good. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to add that we haven't talked about yet?
No, for the most part, it's been a good time. I'm excited to learn more. I definitely appreciate both of you having me on, and what both of you are doing for the trade. Right, I know Roman's always pushing information out there for people to further their education, and so is Donald. So
yeah,
thank you guys.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's all about sharing information, not being afraid to push the boundaries to make sure that we don't hide behind our fears of, well, they say we can't. Well, why do they say we can't? That's, in my opinion, that's bullcrap, right?
Because they said you can't.
I don't care. I'm doing it anyway.
You just have to stop there, right?
I'm not stopping. I don't care.
That's right.
And so it's not settling for what everybody thinks to be the standard and setting a new standard to say, unless the standard is getting my client what they need and deserve, I'm not interested.
Right.
Try again.
That's not an answer.
That's not an answer. I don't accept it, right? And not accepting that and keep pushing back is, I think, what the message should be from all of us at all the times. We all work at different levels with our mechanical contractor, previous manufacturer, to both of you guys working for a rep at different levels and different sides of the country. It all comes back to just trying to do what you can to help your clients and to make a difference.
At the end of the day, what we want is happy customers, right? Because happy customers spend more money.
They spend more money, but also it's less stressful at life. Life's a little
Stress part's
stressful.
a big part of it.
Life's a little stressful in the VRF market. I won't lie. But again, it's also just making sure that we're pushing this in the right direction. A lot of people like to make excuses, or they take bad habits and they just say, well, that's all I can do is bare minimum. And it's like, no, we have to do better. And so we all know that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and you definitely have to push yourself to do better. That's
Absolutely.
the big thing. Is
You gotta want it.
You have to try to further yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, no, any chance I get, I always tell Donald he's not doing a good job and he needs to do better. And so that's that positive motivation, right?
Donald would never.
All right, well, with that, we will end it here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.